Dr. Christopher Walters sits at a desk made out of old wooden crates. A gas lantern hisses softly, hanging from a wooden beam running through the middle of the dugout. The light cast around the stone walls is warm rather than bright, although warm is a description of its color and not any heat. Vapor forms on his breath in the bitter cold. A candle burns beside him on the desk. Wax drips into a steel tray. Its light is pitiful compared to the gas lantern, but the flicker helps ward off the shadows cast by his own hands. He has a battery-powered LED light on his helmet, but batteries need to be saved for the battlefield, so the light within the dugout is dim. Doc has a pen out, and is writing on a piece of paper torn from the back of his leather-bound journal. My dearest Jean, I miss you deeply and cannot wait until this dreadful war is over. After 4 months of working in a field hospital, this is my first rotation to the front. 6 weeks here, 6 weeks back at the hospital, and then I get 2 weeks of furlough before doing it all again. I don't know what you hear on the news, but you probably know far more than I do about the actual fighting. We are starved of information in the trenches. The war on the western perimeter has stalled, with the aliens pushing south and east. I cannot tell you exactly where I am, but not because of any clandestine security requirements. I simply do not know. We've been stationed in the lines between Chelyabinsk and Omsk. The Novos will lock in on any kind of electromagnetic signal, even something trivial like a smartwatch. Small diesel pumps go undetected, but not the engines in cars, so the trucks dropped us off in Kurgan, and we walked from there. We walked for days without end. From the road we could see thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of soldiers and peasants digging trenches and lining them with wood from the forest. These are our fallback positions should the Novos swarm to the west. The trenches are long, often running for miles and branching in different directions. But their width, their depth, it's as though they're a grave awaiting a coffin. They're cut into the clay and mud and reinforced with timber. And then there's no man's land, a strip of bloody earth separating our trenches from those dug by the Novos. At a guess, no man's land is several hundred yards wide and pockmarked with shell holes. Honestly, it terrifies me. Everything in this war is about anticipating the enemy and keeping him boxed in. The thought of being overrun by those damn things is scary as hell. If those fallback trenches are ever used, I fear I will be too. We're told there are reserves held back to reinforce the line as needed, but as everyone's on foot and the ground is muddy, nothing happens quickly out here. Our food, our water, our medical supplies and ammunition are brought in by mule. I cannot see a counterattack being mustered in anything less than a day. That's the frustrating part of the war. Artillery can breach the line, but not tanks. There are no helicopters, no planes, no missiles, no drones. The Novos simply bring them down with lightning. There's shelling outside. Occasionally, the barrage lands close enough to shake the ground. It's more like a heavy truck rumbling across an overpass than an earthquake. The Novos counter with their own fire. Ours sound like distant thunder. Theirs crackle like lightning. There will be clear blue sky above, but it sounds like a storm is rippling overhead. They throw boulders at us, some of them as big as houses.